on Puerto Rico, dropping more than 2 feet of rain on some areas, and much of the island still without power and running water. Volunteers from all over the country are flying out to Puerto Rico to help aid in the disaster relief, similar to what we saw about 5 years ago with Hurricane Maria. Operations associate with Team Rubicon Edith Alvarez-Garcia is live in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, with more on some of their recovery efforts. Edith, first of all, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for all you're doing across the island of Puerto Rico. We first want to get to your volunteers. They arrived yesterday. So can you talk with us about what they did as soon as they got boots on the ground?
Absolutely. The first half of the reconnaissance team actually arrived late Tuesday. The rest of them arrived early yesterday. For the most part, the very first day, we were just making sure that we had all of the gear and the admin assigned accordingly, just to make sure that despite the power outages or the lack of electricity anywhere, we were still able to keep in touch with the organization and the people that are currently working back home with us. So we spent the day doing that, and early this morning, we actually headed out to the Emergency Operating Center in Aguadilla, and that's where we've been currently working for the day.
It's crazy to see some of this video. Again, on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see that throughout Puerto Rico. Have you noticed a bigger impact than the other, whether it's flooding, wind gusts, damage to homes, basements? What have you noticed across the island?
At this time, what we're noticing the most is a lot of flooding. There's also a lot of debris that's been knocked over, trees or pieces of homes, roofs that have come off. We have spoken to the local municipality, and a lot of them are saying that the biggest cry right now for help is going to be with roof tarping, as well as road clearance. So that's going to be two of the things that are going to be our biggest hindrance while we're here.
Right. I'm sure it's so difficult to see, not only you, but everyone across the island, to see similar conditions, maybe not quite as extreme, but similar conditions to what they experienced about 5 years ago, all because of Hurricane Maria. And I know it's not your team's first time being in Puerto Rico. So can you tell me what it's like to come back 5 years later and here you are helping out with a fairly, similar situation?
To be completely honest, it's extremely surreal. I was actually born and raised in Puerto Rico. My family still resides here. So when Maria hit 5 years ago, almost to the week, I actually stepped up and was ready to volunteer. I was out here for about a month, and now 5 years later, it still hasn't fully hit, to be completely honest. It's devastating. Just trying to stay as positive as possible, knowing that we do have capabilities that can help the communities, just making sure that we get the boots on the ground and we have all the support that we need.
Yeah, even 5 years later, you kind of nailed it right there. Really hard to believe. Maybe it even happened to your family. I do want to ask, how is your family doing, not just over the last 5 years, but now with Hurricane Fiona? I hope all right.
They are all safe. Thank you so much for asking. As of right now, some of them still don't have power or running water, but hopefully within the next couple of days, if we don't get hit with any other big storms that are supposed to be coming from the tropics, then hopefully we can get that worked on.
Yeah, that's always the goal, for this to be the last system. We only have about 30 seconds left, so I just want to touch on this real quick. How can those who are watching help the response for Puerto Rico?
Volunteer, sign up, donate, whatever you can do. If you can give time, if you can give money, whatever will help us on the ground. I promise you it will be worth your time.
Time and money both accepted. Edith Alvarez-Garcia, Operations Associate with Team Rubicon. Thanks so much for being with us. We wish you guys luck as you head into the next several days, whether it's battling the heat, doing those cleanup efforts. We're wishing you guys well.
Thank you so much for having me.